scholars, it's Miss Tarleton and Skelly here, and we're coming with a math lesson for the day. So today's topic is dozen. Dozen. So when you've been out with your grown-ups, either at the grocery store or in the drive-thru, you've probably encountered this word before. And a dozen is a quantity of 12 things. So there are 12 things in a dozen. If you have a dozen eggs, there are 12 eggs. If you have a dozen donuts, there are 12 donuts. So again, this is an egg carton, and it has 12 on it. This is a dozen of eggs, or there used to be until I cooked them. So let's go ahead and let's count the spaces in this carton together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a dozen is 12. Let's go ahead and test that theory with something else. So I have with me some marshmallows. I have some marshmallows here. And so let's see if there are 12 here. And if there are, we can say there are what quantity of marshmallows? A dozen, that's right. Oh, they smell really happy. So let's go ahead and let's count the marshmallows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 marshmallows. 12 yummy, yummy, yummy marshmallows. And so if there are 12 of something, we say that we have a dozen. So we have a dozen marshmallows, and this container can hold a dozen eggs, or I could put my marshmallows in this container. A dozen is 12. And you'll see that at the top of today's worksheet as well. A dozen is 12 things. All right, so whether you're buying a dozen donuts or a dozen eggs, a dozen is 12. You might also say, or you might also see half dozen. Well, if a dozen is 12, what's half of 12? That's right, 6. So a half dozen is 6 things. So how many eggs would you have in a half dozen carton? That's right, you'd have 6 eggs. And if I took a half dozen of marshmallows, I would have 6 marshmallows. A dump truck. A dump truck might have 1 dozen tires. How many tires would there be on that dump truck? 12, that's right, because 12 is 1 dozen, or 1 dozen is 12 things. All right, scholars, and you might have seen one of those really big semi-trucks on the highway. A semi-truck often has 1 and 1/2 dozen tires. 1 and 1/2 dozen tires. How many tires would they have? That's right, it would have 18 tires. 18 tires. And a little bit of a language lesson mixed in here. Another name for 12 dozen. If you ever encounter 12 dozen, which 12 times 12 is 144, 12 dozen things would be a gross. That's really cool. So 144 is a gross. And 12 things makes up a dozen. And that is the core of today's lesson. All right, so students, from today's worksheet, a couple of problems I'd love to do with you together. Starting with our story problems. Noah bought a box of 50 dog treats for his dog, Spike. Spike has eaten 37 treats. How many are left? Well, let's think about what our clue word is in there. Our clue word is left. So which of our 4 processes are we going to use to solve this problem? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? You're right, we're going to use subtraction because left means we subtract. So Noah bought 50 dog treats, and Spike ate 37. So we're going to do 50 minus 37 in our workspace. And when we do that, we can't take 7 from 0, so we have to borrow from the tens. We now have 10 minus 7, that is 3. And in the tens place, 4 minus 3 is 1. So there are 13 left, 13 treats left. to answer that question. All right, that was pretty easy. Let's take a look at number 2B together. Sam had $6.95 in his pocket. On the way to the store, he lost 75 cents. How much money does he have now? So we have to look at our story problem and figure out what the clues are. And so it says that he lost 75 cents. So which of our 4 processes? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? That's right, we're going to subtract. So we take his initial amount of money, $6.95, and we take away 75 cents. Don't forget to line up the decimal points. You can even put a 0 in the dollar spot as a nice placeholder. Got a little smudgy. So 5 minus 5 is 0. 9 minus 7 is 2. Bring down that decimal point. In the dollar space, 6 minus 0 is 6. And we bring our dollar sign. So he had $6.20 left with him. So that's our story problem section. And then in number 3, we're going to do some division and checking. So let me get set up for that and we'll be right there. Okay, so we've been learning all about division and the 5 steps to a division problem. So the 5 steps: divide, multiply, subtract, compare, and bring down. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at what this problem is asking for. This problem says 84 divided by 5. 84 is my dividend and 5 is my divisor. So we start with step 1. We ask, what is 8 divided by 5? 8 divided by 5 is 1. 1 goes up in our quotient. Step 2, we multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. Step 3, we subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. Step 4, we compare. 3 is less than 5. And lastly, we bring down the 4. So now we have 34. So we're going to start all the way back up at our division process, beginning with dividing. So we ask ourselves, what's 34 divided by 5? And we know that 34 divided by 5, we get 6 without going over. So we put 6 up here in our quotient. 6 times 5 equals 30. We subtract. We get 4. We compare. Is 4 less than 5? Good, good. Do we have anything to bring down, scholars? No. So 4 becomes our remainder. That's right. Remainder 4. So our answer is 16 with a remainder of 4. So to check a division problem, we've been talking a lot about this. To check a division problem, you multiply the quotient, which is your answer, times your divisor, and then you add any remainders you have. So let's set that up in our check section. 16 times 5. Always, always, always start in the ones place. So 6 times 5 is 30. I put the 0 down, I carry the 3. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 3 is 8. And then I have to add that remainder of 4. 80 plus 4 equals 84. 84 and 84 match. Big old check mark. All right, let's do 3B together. So we have 59 divided by 6. If you had said 6 divided by 59, would that be right? No, that would be really silly and it wouldn't make any sense. It is 59 divided by 6. And so we start with step 1, divide. Well, can 6 go into 5? So here's what we're going to do so we don't accidentally write an answer in that spot in our quotient. We're going to go ahead and put our x there now. That'll remind us we have to multiply in a second. And now we ask ourselves, how many times does 6 go into 59 without going over? So we know our 6 times tables. We know that 6 times 10 is 60. That's too big, so we're going to go with 9. 6 times 9 equals what, scholars? 54 is correct. Good job. We subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. Compare. Is 5 less than 6? Awesome. Anything to bring down? Nope. So 5 is my remainder. So now I have an answer. 9 remainder 5. And to check it, I'm going to multiply 9 times 6 and add the 5. 9 times 6 is 54 plus 5 is 59. All right. So do you guys see how knowing your multiplication tables is going to be really helpful to you as you are solving math problems, especially division? All right, and that is number 2, and some of number 3. I'm going to leave 3C for you to try on your own, and let me know if you need any help with that one, okay, scholars? All right, good job. All right, scholars, one more concept I'd love to go over with you are geometric shapes. So this is hopefully a review for you. If you need more help on it, let me know and I can get you some resources. But I've got 6 geometric shapes behind me on the board, and we know that we can classify them by the number of sides and then also certain characteristics like whether they're parallel or not parallel. So let's go ahead and let's quickly see if we can identify the geometric shapes behind me on the board. So over here is a 4-sided shape. All the sides are parallel to each other. And this is a rectangle. This is a rectangle. Also in blue, also with 4 sides and right angles, but different than the rectangle in that all the sides are the same size. This is a square. So a rectangle and a square are both related in that they're both quadrilaterals. Quad means 4. They are 4-sided shapes. Down here in green, we have another 4-sided shape. This shape is unique in that both sets of sides are parallel to each other. So we call this shape a parallelogram because this pair of sides is parallel and this pair of sides is parallel. That's a parallelogram. The other 4-sided geometric shape I have on my board is this one right here. And so this shape has a couple of right angles, but then it has some sides that aren't quite making right angles with each other. Does anybody know the name of this shape? Well, that's a trapezoid. That is a trapezoid, and it's got its unique angled side there. All right, these 2 shapes, I went ahead and counted them for us. So this one has 6 sides. This is a 6-sided polygon. So if it's got 6 sides, think about the prefix. And let's verify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 6-sided shape is a hexagon. Good job, guys. And above it in green, that's a 5-sided shape. And so a 5-sided shape, again, let's think of our prefixes. Pentagon. That's right, scholars. That's right. So that's just a quick review of our geometric shapes. Hopefully you found that helpful. And if you have any questions at all, let me know. But thanks so much for tuning into today's math lesson. Bye!